Hello, and welcome back to 2 Minutes on Books with Patrice. Today, it will not be 2 minutes on books because I'm going to be talking about how I've ranked my books that I've read for the Booktube Prize quarterfinals. So, whenever I finish is however long the video will be. If you don't know anything about the Booktube Prize, then head on over to the Booktube Prize channel. It has its own YouTube channel, and you can learn everything you want to know about it. I have judged every year except for one, I believe, and I always judge nonfiction. I had Group D in the quarterfinals. And so let's see how I rank them, and then I'll let you know what went through to the next round. So, of the 6 books, in the 6th position was Wifedom, Mrs. Orwell's Invisible Life by Anna Funder. Now, Anna Funder, I guess you could say she was a little obsessed with Orwell. She read 6 full-length biographies on him, and then she realized that it was Mrs. Orwell who was basically invisible, so she decided to write a book about her. Now, all of the books that I read, none of them were bad books. So, I didn't have a bad group. I didn't have a bad book in my group at all. However, learning about Mrs. Orwell and George Orwell's bad habits and how much of a bad husband he was, it just wasn't for me. I read this and I was like, I just don't care. Yeah. So, if this is your thing and, you like George Orwell and you want to know more about his wife, I thought the book was written very well, so you might like it, but it just wasn't for me. So this was in the 6th place. Coming in at number 5, We Were Once a Family, A Story of Love, Death, Child Removal in America by Roxana Asgharian. Now, this was a good book, but it was kind of lacking to me. So this, you've probably heard about this story in the news, where Jennifer and Sarah Hart, they were a white married couple who had adopted 6 black children from 2 different Texas families in 2006 and 2008. And so, it's a story about abuse. It's a story about the Texas foster care system, the real families that these children had at one time. I thought it was very well done, but it was kind of lacking for me. Once again, it's not a bad book. It was a good book, but it got the 5th spot for me. The dictionary people came in the 4th spot. The Unsung Heroes Who Created the Oxford English Dictionary by Sarah Ogilvie. Now, I thought this was really, really good. I thought it was done and in an original way. I think everybody can learn something from this book. How did the Oxford English Dictionary come about? It's done according to the alphabet. Like it says A for archaeology, and then it gives history. I thought it was great. I highly recommend this book. However, it wasn't quite good enough for me to get to my top 3, but I recommend this, and I also recommend it on audio. And my top 3, in the number 3 position is Flee North, A Forgotten Hero in the Fight for Freedom in Slavery's Borderland by Scott Shane. Anyone who knows me knows that I am into African American history, and I had never heard this story or heard about this particular gentleman. This guy was an abolitionist, a liberator, and a writer, and his name is Thomas Smallwood. He bought his own freedom, and he also was responsible for the freedom of hundreds of others out of slavery. And he was even the one who gave the Underground Railroad its name. And I thought this was absolutely fantastic, and so it came in number 3. And the number 2 spot, The Lumumba Plot, and this is a chunker. The Secret History of the CIA and the Cold War Assassination. I have always been curious about this story, and then when this book came out, I wanted to read it. So I was very happy that it was a part of the group of books for me to read for the Booktube Prize. And this is by Stuart A. Reed. I really do recommend this, especially if you like history. This is about the, it says the U.S. sanctioned plot to assassinate the democratically elected leader of the newly independent Congo. And this goes into great detail. I think it's good on audio, but you know, I read along with the audio, so either way, I think it's great history. I highly recommend it. This was number 2. And my friends would not be surprised with my number 1 pick, because I have raved about this book. And, you know, some people, it's not for them, but it's okay. My number 1 pick was The Wager by David Grann, a tale of shipwreck, mutiny, and murder. And it also is fair to say that I am into water and water stories and shipwrecks and ships and all kinds of water stuff. So, but this was very well researched, very well written. I think it is still on the New York Times bestsellers list, if I'm not mistaken. David Grann, yeah, I think he will be an auto-buy author because this was fantastic. So this was my number 1 pick. Now, the top 3, the 3 who advanced to the next round were We Were Once a Family, Wifedom, and The Wager. Those were the 3 who advanced. So that's it. There you have it. I am longing to see what is going to be number 1 when all is said and done for nonfiction. And who knows, maybe I will end up judging in the final round. But, you know, I am a big nonfiction reader, so I always try to judge with nonfiction. So let me know what you think. See you next time.